أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Brothers and sisters in Islam, today our khutbah is about al-iftiqar ilallah, meaning being impoverished in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Impoverished meaning deprived of strength, meaning being broken in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Showing Allah azza wa jal that you're in need of Him. Not coming up in front of Allah azza wa jal arrogant or showing that you're not in need or that you're self-sufficient. But that I am in need of you, Ya Allah. I am deprived of strength without you. Being impoverished in front of Allah Azza wa Jal and showing al-iftiqar and showing the need for Allah Azza wa Jal, this is one of the shortcuts to getting close to Allah Azza wa Jal. And it's one of the ways for your dua to be answered. And it's from the characteristics of the prophets and the righteous. And it is the source of strength of the believer. As much as you are weak with Allah, you will be strong. And as much as you show strength to Allah, you will be weak. And we have a lot of evidence for this from the Quran. Qarun, who is a very wealthy man from amongst the people of Musa alayhi salam, قال إنما أوتيته على علم عندي. He said, all this wealth I got through my own knowledge. Yani not through the help of Allah. He didn't give any credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Through my own intelligence and knowledge, I gained this wealth. The rest of the story, he loses all of that. Iblis, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him to bow down and to prostrate to Adam. He says, أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِن طِينٍ. I am better than him. And then what's the result of that story? Iblis is the worst of the creation. If you're asked what is the worst thing of the creation, you would think immediately Iblis. Fir'aun, he said, أَلَيْسَ لِي مِلْكُ مِصْرٍ. Do I not have the kingdom over Egypt and all these rivers that are running beneath my feet? And what's the end of that? He ends up drowning in the middle of the sea. Bilqis, her advisors, قالوا نحن أولو قوة وأولو بأس شديد. They mentioned how much power they have. They believed they were powerful, but they were nowhere near as powerful as the army or the king that they were discussing, meaning the kingdom of Sulaiman. So we see people attributing power and strength to themselves. They claim that they're powerful, and the reality is they're weak or they lost that power. So when are the believers strong? Interestingly, look at Badr versus Hunayn in the Quran. وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ. And Allah gave you victory at Badr when you were adillah. You were a few, you were the minority, you were the ones in the lesser position. But look at Hunayn. The Muslim numbers were so huge at Hunayn. It was the largest Muslim army ever assembled up in that point. وَيَوْمَ حُنَيْنٍ إِذْ أَعْجَبَتْكُمْ كَثْرَتُكُمْ فَلَمْ تُغْنِ عَنْكُمْ شَيْئًا. And on the day of Hunayn, when you were fond and pleased and proud of your numbers, and it didn't avail you, it did not benefit you. وَضَاقَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْأَرْضُ بِمَا رَحُبَتْ ثُمَّ وَلَّيْتُمْ مُدْبِرِينَ. And so this wide and expansive earth constricted around you, and you ran away at the end of it. We're seeing this contrast. So the first lesson, show weakness in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Show dependence on Allah Azza wa Jal. Express to Allah Azza wa Jal, even though He knows well, express that you are very much in need of His assistance and in need of His help and His sustenance. And with you do that, and Allah will make you strong, successful, and victorious. Second lesson is whatever good you have, whatever blessing and capability or capacity that you already have, always be conscious that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the reason you have it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the reason behind it. Go into any situation with humility. Don't go into any situation overconfident or arrogant or thinking it's because of your achievement. Always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's link in this situation. So don't walk in thinking I am wise. You walk in, Ya Allah, give me wisdom. Don't go in thinking I'm eloquent and I'm a good speaker. You walk in saying, Ya Allah, make my tongue eloquent. A doctor walks in to a surgery, Ya Allah, allow me to be successful in this surgery. Don't be proud of your children and your achievements. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed that they were not born with defects, that Allah put them on that specific path. Same thing when you see your house or your bank account. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose the path for me that led me to this place where I am today. He could have decreed me to be poor. He could have decreed someone else in my place. Lineage, don't be proud of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose it for you. You didn't exist. You had no part in choosing it. Skills, looks, the scholars say, never be proud of something that you had no part in gaining. And they say it's from foolishness to be proud of something that you didn't have any part in gaining. And if someone is boasting that they're tall, or someone is boasting that they're handsome, did you perform any exercise in the womb to ensure you come out tall or to ensure you come out handsome? It is nothing but genetics, and Allah decreed that for you. So how can you boast about something you had no hand in gaining whatsoever? This is not something you boast over. Third lesson, even when you're capable of doing something, remember that you're still in need of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us this in the Quran. Ya ayyuhan nas, antumul fuqara'u ila Allah, wallahu huwal ghaniyyul hamid. O people, you are the ones who are in need of Allah. You are the ones who are impoverished before Allah, and Allah is the one who is self-sufficient, the one who is worthy of praise. And we see a lot of examples of this. The righteous, the prophets, they're capable of doing something. They don't just go ahead and do it, they make dua to Allah. They, for lack of a better term, involve Allah Azza wa Jal in the process. Musa alayhi salam in Surah Al-Qasas, he says, Rabbi inni lima anzalta alayya min khayrin faqir. He says, he's saying, I am in need of you, Ya Allah. Even though you have blessed me and sent down so much blessings upon me, I am still in need of you. Even when capable, Ibrahim alayhi salam said, Rabbi ja'anni muqim as-salati wa min dhurriyyati. O my Lord, make me establish the prayer, and from my lineage, from my children, make them establish the prayer. وَجْنُبْنِي وَبَنِيَّ أَن نَعْبُدَ الْأَصْنَامِ. And prevent me and my children, keep us away from worshipping idols, involving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the process. And from the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, from the morning adhkar that we mentioned, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in the end of this dua specifically, وَلَا تَكِنِّي إِلَى نَفْسِي طَرْفَةَ عَيْنٍ, and don't let me depend on myself. Don't leave me to my own abilities and vices. Don't leave me to my own, even for the blink of an eye. This is every morning in the morning adhkar. And so we don't act brave with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he was the Khalifa, and when the wind would blow, he would become fearful, thinking that the destruction is going to come down upon him. Always linking everything and making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, never feeling that they're self-sufficient, never feeling that they're not in need of Allah Azza wa Jal. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم من جميع الذنوب فاستغفروه فيا فوز المستغفرين. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Brothers and sisters in Islam, the more humbled and the more impoverished you are with Allah, the closer you become to Allah Azza wa Jal. We see this in Surah Al-Alaq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says at the end of it, كَلَّا لَا تُطِعْهُ وَاسْجُدْ وَاقْتَرِبْ. So Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, do not obey those who are trying to take you away from Allah Azza wa Jal. Wasjud, go make sujood, prostrate, and draw nearer. When you prostrate to Allah Azza wa Jal, you are nearest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And contemplate why you are closest to Allah Azza wa Jal when you're in your sujood. First of all, you're putting the most honored part of your body, which is your face, flat into the ground, where people step and sit and so on. And this is the part that you spend the most time looking at. People spending the most to make this part of their body look good. And now you're putting it to the ground where people step with their feet out of humiliation and submission to your Lord. And you're at this lowest point, and while you're at the lowest point, you're praising Allah, who is the most high, at the highest point. That's why in sujood you say Subhan Rabbi al-A'la, the most high. And you're acknowledging and realizing that Allah, and you're reminded that you're in the low position and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in the one who is in the high position. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is always highest. The danger is when we are comfortable and we think all is well. And we forget that being broken in front of Allah Azza wa Jalla, this is an essential part of our relationship with Allah Azza wa Jalla. Not only broken and in need of Allah when there's a calamity, but all the time, even when everything is okay, we are still just as in need of Allah Azza wa Jalla as different as during the time of calamity. So in dua as well, the more broken you and impoverished you are, the closer you are to getting an answer. About 450 years ago, a man by the name of Al-Mundhir ibn Sa'id, rahimahullah, the Khalifa asked him to go out and lead the istisqa prayer. So, meaning the prayer for rain. And before he left, he sent his servant boy. He said, go and convince the guards to let you into the Khalifa, and go and listen and see what state the Khalifa is in. So this man, Al-Mundhir ibn Sa'id, rahimahullah, he is asked to go and make the dua for rain. He wants to get an idea if the dua is going to be answered or not. And he understands that dua being answered is linked to how much you humble yourself in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. So at the end of the day, the Khalifa is the one in charge. If he is arrogant and he's not humbled, he's not impoverished, the dua is not going to be answered. So he tells the boy to go and listen and see what state the Khalifa is in. So the boy goes and he hears the Khalifa saying, Allahumma la tu'adhib khalqak bima'siyati khalifatihim. O Allah, do not punish your creation because of the sins of their Khalifa. So he found the Khalifa to be broken. And he came back and he said this to Al-Mundhir ibn Sa'id, who tells the boy, follow me and bring the umbrella. Yani he's so confident at this point. Because he said, إِذَا خَشَعَ جَبَّارُ الْأَرْضِ رَحِمَ جَبَّارُ السَّمَاءِ. He says, if the Jabbar is the one that's overpowering and powerful. If the Jabbar of the earth, meaning the Khalifa, if he is humbled and impoverished, then the Jabbar of the heavens will have rahmah. We conclude our khutbah with that. I was asked to remind that in this month of Ramadan, we are, first of all, always thankful and always satisfied with how much the community gives back to its masjid every month of Ramadan. And this year we're going to require people to give a stronger push than before. There are a lot of things to be done, and Sheikh Walid is going to be going over all the details throughout the month of Ramadan, whether it be improvements, construction, new projects. Even not only that, but as some of you know very well, that there are a lot of other organizations that rely on us, even relief organizations. Each of them have an allotted amount that they get. So even these other organizations, many of them are expecting much from us. So this month, inshallah, everyone's going to push themselves a little harder, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept and reward you guys. With that, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who recognize the truth as clear truth and follow the best of it, and to make us of those who recognize falsehood as clear falsehood and abstain from it. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah, wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabah. اللهم لا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت، وعافنا فيمن عافيت، وتولنا فيمن توليت، وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت، وقنا شر ما قضيت، إنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك، إنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت، تباركت ربنا وتعاليت. يا أرحم الراحمين، يا أكرم الأكرمين، يا أبر الأبرين، يا من يجيب الدعاء، يا من يحقق الرجاء، يا من بابه مفتوح وعطاؤه ممنوح وفضله يغدو ويروح. اللهم إنا نسألك عيشة نقية وميتة سوية ومردا غير مخز ولا فاضح. اللهم إنا نسألك جوامع الخير وفواتحه ونسألك الدرجات العلى من الجنة. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to rectify the condition of Islam and the Muslims. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically to forgive and to bless the people of this masjid and the musallin in this masjid and those who donate to this masjid. وصلى اللهم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وقوموا إلى صلاتكم.